We start by looking at Act 1, Scene 1 of Macbeth. Of course, this is one of those scenes that involves the supernatural, immediately with the presence of witches, just as we find in certain others of his plays. For example, the opening of Hamlet, we're very soon met with a ghost. In this scene, what we're looking at is the ingenuity, not so much just in the content and the characters, but also in the sound. Think about the sound as you encounter this very short opening scene. Indeed, so short, it's only 13 lines. Was that an accident by Shakespeare to choose an unlucky number, the number 13? Perhaps not, given the skill with which he applies so many of these subtleties and nuances in the overall structure of his dramas. Now here, in the opening, we've got the three witches present. Obviously, there is this sense from the Elizabethan context of something unnatural. This is where we're looking at the Elizabethan chain of being and the idea that there is the natural world and the unnatural. The supernatural reflects something that is awry, something wrong in the natural world. And this foregrounds, of course, the events to come, the great unsettling of the kingdom of Scotland as a result of the murderous actions of Macbeth and his wife. What strikes us, as I said, though, really, is the sound. Listen to this. When shall we three meet again in thunder, lightning, or in rain? When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won. Immediately, Shakespeare employs a reversal of the familiar iambic rhythm that we encounter during the blank verse of so many of his plays, and indeed in his poems. Here, we have the adoption of the trochaic meter, but not merely that. Whereas in a pentameter line, as you're probably aware, there are 5 feet. In these lines here, we find sometimes there could be simply a single foot. Upon the heath, for example, could be characterized as an amphimeter, which is, of course, a 3-syllable foot, where the first syllable is stressed, the second is muted, and the third is soft. So what are we looking at? Are we looking at a stressed pattern that deliberately creates disharmony and discord? Certainly we are, because this is what is going to happen throughout the play. Disharmony, division, discord, and ultimately chaos. Now, if we look at the lines that I've been alluding to, the opening 4, for example, we'll see that Shakespeare creates a further dimension to the discord. This lies in the associations that we find between the rhythm and the rhyme, the meter and the rhyme. For example, we have these couplets that create a regularity, for example, again and rain and done and won, and even at the very end when with fair and air. Now, whilst that creates an ostensible sense of harmony and unity, there is this disharmony produced by the fragmentation of the meter. For example, line 1 of the we're going to call it a poem, it's essentially that, is composed of only 7 syllables. When shall we three meet again? We've got an extra syllable at the end. This is catalexis, this additional foot, this incomplete, additional syllable, this incomplete foot that we find at the very end. And this occurs throughout. So many of these lines have this additional syllable, which does not complete the full 2-syllable foot. This in itself is a feature of the discord and disharmony, along with the shorter lines, along with the trochaic rhythm with the accent on the first syllable rather than the second in the conventional iambic meter. But at the same time, Shakespeare also creates disorder through the overall structure of this opening 13 lines. As mentioned, some of them contain 7 syllables, like the first one. However, the second, listen to this, in thunder, lightning, or in rain, this has got 8. Yet again, we find others, like where the place. This is 3 syllables, and we could classify this as, of course, an amphimeter, another one of those foot where you have a stressed first syllable, a stressed last syllable, and a middle syllable that is unstressed. At the same time, though, we find others which create discord. For example, listen to this line, I come grimalkin, 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 where we have 3 syllables. The first and the third are soft, and the middle one is stressed. This is an amphibrak. So we've got this variation, not only in the feet, not only in the lines, but also a departure from the conventional iambic rhythm that essentially establishes a strong sense of dissonance and discord, a jarring opening that sets the tone for the whole of the play. This is where the sound, you could call it the disharmony, the musical disharmony, if you forgive the oxymoron, of the opening scene, creates this sense that everything is awry in this kingdom. Things are about to go badly wrong within the kingdom of Scotland. So it's not merely the appearance of the witches themselves, and it's not merely the words that they speak. It's ultimately the skill and interweaving of all of these elements that produce a sound, a quality of sound that in itself becomes an architecture of discord that will pervade the whole of the play. It will set the tone and then will begin to echo throughout the play as the actions emulate this opening discord.